This episode of the Golf Gambling Podcast from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code GOLFSGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Earn up to $750 a month on your sports gambling transactions. Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, Dom is back. Had a 2-week Mexico bender, so I'm hoping you're alive. We
We're
got more
alive.
golf to talk about though. So how you feeling?
Good. Feeling good. A couple crazy winners. Got the first signature event, so ready to get into it and get into a pretty serious field.
I know we didn't talk last week, obviously, because you weren't here. But were you sweating anything, or were you just like a full week away from golf betting? Just a
Full week away, yeah. I did watch some of the final round on Saturday, kind of Novak and in English. It got interesting. It was just because it was so tight, but yeah, I didn't have any bets out there.
Yeah, any strong takeaways from because I do want to ask you. I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but there was a lot of Torrey Pines hate, a lot of Torrey Pines comments. What are your thoughts on Torrey Pines? Are you out? Do you hate it? Like,
I'm fine with it. I thought it was pretty awesome to watch. So
I mean, I understand. Like, people hate it because it's a very repetitive golf course, asks you to do the same things over and over and over again. But when you're getting a winner in single digits, you're getting guys struggling. Like, what more can we ask for? Not every week is going to be perfect. Like, yeah, we have to hit a lot of long and straight shots. So do that thing. Hit those long and straight shots. It's not an easy thing to do. So
yeah,
I thought it was a fun tournament, even though the field wasn't the strongest field in the world. I was very happy with the week. I had a little bit of a sweat on Friday, Saturday, then we died out. So I was rooting for Novak, but obviously English pulled it out. So Pebble Week, golf course that we're both very familiar with. What's your takes on Pebble? What are you looking for in terms of handicapping the golf course, in terms of what style of golfer you like at Pebble Beach?
I think the prototypical like shorter hitter, wedges around the green, putting, a little bit smaller greens. So you want to, it's another one that I'm kind of going to look at proximity to the hole and see where guys' irons have been. But when it comes to putting and it's on smaller greens, you can look at it a little bit and look at the green type and whatnot. But yeah, just your shorter hitter who's good inside like 100 to 150.
Yeah, I agree with that. And obviously bigger hitters can definitely succeed here. We obviously saw Ludwig almost win this event last year, but they just can't take advantage of this golf course with their driver as much as they can on a golf course like Torrey Pines, for example. So, Yeah, that bigger hitter can just get really hot with the wedges and the putter, but so can anyone. This is a golf course that anyone can really, like, remember Nick Taylor versus Phil Mickelson. Anyone can get into the mix. Anyone could play well here. And we obviously have a really, really good field. Scotty Scheffler joins the way. Rory joins the way. Their first starts of 2025. Obviously, they weren't at the Century, so let's get right into the betting board. We got the longest number on Scotty we've seen in like a year's time. It feels like 4-1, 5-1 in some spots. I'm not gonna go there. I don't go lower than 6.5, 7-1 ever. That'd be a single bullet. So Scotty's a no go for me in terms of outright betting. But let's assess Scotty Scheffler. How do you think he's going to fare starting his 2025?
Well, considering the reports that he was 6 under through 6 in the practice round or whatever, I mean, that's not shocking to me at all. I don't think it would be shocking to anyone if he just ran away with it, especially since his quote unquote injury, I mean, didn't require medical attention to our knowledge. So it's hard to say how hurt he even really was. And I mean, he probably didn't want to play any of those events anyways. It's still January. So it's the first signature event. He's ready to go. I don't think I can really get there, obviously. I don't think all year me or you will get there. Depends on situation, I guess, and how dominant he is. But, I mean, it's an extremely fair number considering where he's at and it being the first time seeing him. But I don't think he's going to have any issues.
Yeah, sound the alarms. Dom thinks Scotty Scheffler is good at golf, and I would have to agree with you there. He is a good golfer. I will say, remember last year he took so long to make anything. Like he was missing like 2 to 3 3-footers around, and that's not even a joke.
Yeah.
I do think that could be a thing again. I could see him just struggling with the putter. I know he got off to a nice start at the Hero World Challenge late in 2024, but he hasn't played in some times, and these aren't easy surfaces to just get out there and putt. And when Scottie Scheffler really did pop, it was never on West Coast POA. It was on that Bermuda or some Northeast stuff. So I'm not thinking Scottie Scheffler is going to come out here and light it up. I could see him having a nice wedge week, having a nice ball striking week, but this isn't a golf course where he could take advantage of the driver. Pebble Beach doesn't set up for that. Right. But yeah, he's the best. He's also the best wedge player in the world too. So there's a world where he can just gain 8 on approach and win that way. Both of us are going to be out on Scottie Scheffler, so we'll go down and talk about some more bettable guys. Rory, JT, Colin. We'll call that the big 3. Scotty's in his own world. So Rory, JT, Colin, you got to pick one guy in that range. In a 3-ball, in pick to win, just in general, who wins out of that Rory, JT, Colin group?
I think I'm going JT.
JT? Okay, the hot hand.
I don't love the number, so I don't see myself getting there from a betting perspective. I think he could be a nice DFS play. But yeah, considering all the guys up top, he popped in my model quite well, pretty much across the board. Irons have been great. He was good here last year. So I think Justin Thomas does stand out between those 3.
Yeah, I wrote down, I had on Monday afternoon, JT 20. I would have been in on JT if I got a 20-1, and there was an 18 available, I think, yesterday afternoon. Now I see on DraftKings it's down to 14. So I'm going to be out on Justin Thomas. This is peak in pricing for him over the last 2 years, basically. Yeah. And that really has not worked for any golfer outside of Scottie Scheffler. The last 2 years, it's been all drifters that win the last 2 years. So I'm going to be out on Justin Thomas from an outright betting perspective. But you can't argue. He's been playing great golf. The ball striking numbers have been solid. I will say this is one of the stronger fields he's played in since 2025 started, since the fall swing ended. So take that ball striking with a grain of salt. It's gonna be harder earned this week. So I'm gonna go with Colin. I like Colin a lot out of these 3 golfers. He played really well here last year. He gained strokes across the board, and he gained strokes putting, which is really important for Colin Morikawa. And we know he's not scared to get low. Look what he did at the Century. You tell anyone they're gonna get the 32 under, they think they're gonna get a winner's check. Clearly, that wasn't the case with Colin. I think he is as hungry for a win as any golfer on the planet. He's just been so close so many times the last few years, and he's too good of a golfer to not win as often as he does. So Colin Morikawa is not a guy I bet often. I did a few years ago, but the last 2 years I haven't bet much of Colin, and I think I can see myself getting there this week. So he's my pick out of these 3 guys.
Yeah, and like you kind of mentioned about JT kind of peaking in price when Scotty's in a field, and I mean, we assume that he's going to be in Scotty form. It's hard to lay a 14 on a guy who hasn't won in quite some time, especially I know he's had a couple top 3, top 5 finishes over the last few months, but I don't see how you can really lay a 14 on someone like him. You could probably make the case for Rory or Colin, but I don't know. The JT.
What are your thoughts on Rory? I want to hear your Rory take.
My Rory take?
Just him as a human. What's he doing? Does he care? I don't know. I can't read Rory right now.
I seriously have no idea on how to approach him.
Yeah, the only reason I could see Rory mixing is because he mixes when the scores get -15 to -20. He doesn't play well in difficult conditions per se, except outside of the U.S. Open last year. All of his wins are double digits. So I could see Rory just getting hot with the wedges. But at the end of the day, Rory has struggled with the wedges notoriously the last 3 years. So yeah, I'd rather see it first. I'm not going to just jump in on a Rory 10-1. Although it's really not a bad number. There's a world where we don't. This is one of the better Rory numbers that we see all year. Truthfully, yeah, that's not the craziest thing to say. So, but I'm gonna go with Colin out of these 3 for sure.
Yeah, yep, I don't blame you.
All right, let's move down a little bit. We'll talk about these 4 guys: Ludwig, Patrick Cantlay, Hideki Matsuyama, Sung J M. They all range from 18 to 25, give or take a few points depending where you're looking. Who's your guy here? Who's your top 2? Who do you hate? Talk to me about
my guy here would have to be Cantlay.
Cantlay?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to get there from an outright perspective. I don't think I'm going anywhere under 50-1 this week. But
really, 20's, wow, okay,
20's not the worst number in the world, especially considering what he's been able to do here. The kind of player that Patrick Cantlay is, the Pro-Am obviously kind of fits to what he likes to do, slows him down a little bit. So I think the 20 is extremely fair. I could get talked into it. I think him and Justin Thomas are equals to me almost at this point for this week. So when you're getting 6 more points and you can get Cantlay right around 20, I think there is some pretty good value there.
Yeah, honestly, like if I see it, what is he now? What did I just say? 18?
I see it 20.
No, he's 20. I see it 22. I can see myself getting there too, truthfully, depending on where my brain goes later tonight. But like you can't argue with the course history.
Yeah.
T5 last week at the Amex, or last start at the Amex, T15 at the Century. And when I was in Hawaii, I'm not sure how much we talked about it, but he was the most impressive golfer I saw in terms of like him and Sam Burns both looked so good to me. And Patrick Cantlay got off to that really slow start of the Century. So I was like, all right, maybe I'm wrong. Then he bounced back with some great rounds, finished T15, which is fine. And then a T5. So clearly, I think Patrick Cantlay is in some decent form and some good things are coming soon. I also, part of me says, like, how much does Patrick Cantlay really care to win golf tournaments anymore? Like, he's like majors, maybe. I think that will and desire to win is taken up by so much of these younger guys now. I think they just want it way more than these guys that are in TGL, guys that are making millions of dollars that are on PIP and another player. And like 20, I think is fine, but anything lower than that, I don't think I'd get down with Patrick Cantlay. But he's got the course history. He's in decent form. I do worry about the recent approach play, but the Century was long irons and the Amex was only two rounds of data. So I don't think it's the end of the world with Patrick Cantlay, but a little weird. So I think we're both aligned with Patrick Cantlay at this range. Move down a little bit, start talking about some guys that really might want to get to our betting cards. Tommy Fleetwood 30-1, Sam Burns, Jason Day, Victor Wyndham. Okay, no, we'll leave Wyndham out. So Fleetwood, Burns, Day, Vic. Any of these guys talking to you or no?
No. I can't. I mean, obviously, Day's interesting, but not at this number. I don't care. I don't care what he's done here.
I totally agree. And
what his form is, I could never get there.
Like, Day couldn't be in better form. He has an amazing course history too, but he's not at the point of his career where he's tallying off wins. And this is like also like one of the peaks in pricing for Jason Day. I mean, he did win. His last win came in a very weak field at like a bad number. I think he was like 20-1 when he won in Texas 2 years ago. So like you got that going for you. But Day, I think is going to be a popular bet. I think he's going to be chalky in DFS, and he's definitely in for a letdown. Although the ball striking has been good, this is a strong field and a tough number for Jason Day. So we'll get down to the 50-1 where you said you got some names. So before we get there, let me finish off these ads reads and then we'll get into some bets because Dom's got a few. So Super Bowl's coming soon. In honor of the big game, from now until February 9th, 15% off everything in the SGPN store. So go over there, promo code BIGGAME in all caps. Go get a Golf Gambling Podcast t-shirt. Definitely helps us out. SGPN has partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, or casino. You can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. And you know your money is safe at the card as the card is FDIC insured. The best part is there is no credit check and it's completely free. So sign up today. Use the promo code SGPN to get better cashback rewards and instant tier 2 status. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Finally, we're brought to you by MyBookie. MyBookie is your place to bet every single sport, plus props for every single game in the live dealer casino. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposit, and lightning fast payouts. We're going to get to some bets we like on MyBookie very shortly. So head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 and a $10 casino chip. mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. All right. 50-1 time. Dom, lead us off. Who's your first guy that you're really looking at here?
First guy that I'm looking at is Taylor Pendrith. So hasn't missed a cut since.
I'm hearing that.
Hasn't missed a cut since May of last year. I think he's got 15 straight. Obviously, one of the longer hitters, can score on the par fives. Made quite a bit of birdies over the last few months. T7 at Torrey last week, digging into what he was able to do. I mean, second tee to green, third around the green, fifth in ball striking. Pendrith was T7 at Pebble in his last appearance in 2023. So the 55 is kind of difficult to get to from an outright perspective, just considering the field. But if you're looking at top 20s, he's even money as a top 30. I think Pendrith is worth a look this week at Pebble.
I mean, what's there to argue with there? Like, Taylor Pendrith checks so many boxes in what you just said, and you could say the 55, but I think that's a fine number. Taylor Pendrith has won before, and I've talked about him on the pod before with you. Like, I think he's in for a big season this year and in for taking that next step. Obviously, he got the President's Cup last year, and looks like I talked about him being the most confident Canadian from what I've seen so far when I've been out there. And obviously, Nick Taylor got that win, but Pendrith still looks like he's got his swag and he's ready to pop off and play some good golf. So I totally avow what you said with Taylor Pendrith. I kind of want to give a look to Russell Henley at 60-1. He's got really tough course history and has not played in California outside of when he won the U.S. Open, obviously, at Torrey Pines when Jon Rahm won. Remember he was mixing with Mackenzie Hughes. That was fucking absurd. But Russell Henley, 60-1. This is a great number on Henley in a style of golf that fits his game. You want Russell Henley when you got wedges, when you got obviously you want him on Bermuda, but I don't know. If this field was at the Wyndham, Russell Henley would be 28-1 at max.
Yep.
So we're getting a 60 on a style of golf that makes sense for Russell Henley. I know that it's not his preferred surfaces, but what he did ball striking wise in his last start checks boxes in my eyes. So I think it's a good number on a guy who knows how to win. So Russell Henley, 60-1.
Yeah, this is a really interesting range. And once odds came out yesterday, two of my first clicks were actually just below him at 66. I just complete feel, but I went Shane Lowry and Tom Kim. Bet their top 6 each way at 66-1. Makes sense for Lowry top to bottom. A lot of success closing out 2025 on the DP World Tour. I think he had like 5 top 10s or 5 top 15s or whatever it was. And then Tom Kim was on him a couple weeks ago, and he missed the cut, but same thing as irons looked good in Hawaii. When you get a 66-1 on a guy who's not in the best form, it's kind of a click and go.
Yeah. You know what's funny? As of right now, almost 6 o'clock Eastern time on a Tuesday, I've made one bet, and it was Shane Lowry. I got him at 70-1. This might be the first time I bet Shane Lowry in like a full year. I think it's the number. Like look, Shane Lowry in majors is like 35-1, 45-1.
Yeah. Yep.
Now he's 70-1 on a golf course that should suit Shane Lowry's game. Like, he's very precise with his short irons. He can get streaky with the putter. He's accurate off the tee. Like, what more am I asking for? So Shane Lowry, 70-1. I think that's a great click. And I did not think you were going to say that at all, because I think he's got kind of going under the radar, which I like this weekend. At Torrey, it was just all putting that was bad. Like, he hit the ball fine.
Right. Yeah, it's just a crazy number. Like you said, you're just kind of scrolling, and you have a player profile that's kind of in your head when you're kind of scrolling. And when you see Shane Lowry this low behind guys like, I don't know, as much as I like Pendrith, I don't think Pendrith should be 10 points better than Lowry, especially here. I
mean, don't get me wrong. Shane Lowry does not win golf tournaments. Like, he doesn't. He does not win golf tournaments. He's always touted, but he never wins. Hopefully this is the week that we're both on him that he does. But I get it. I want to talk about, actually, I want to give my take that I'm a big stand on takes guy, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to be out on TGL golfers if they play that week. So I love Tom Kim this week. He makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm out until someone proves to me that they can do it. And it's not a real thing. It doesn't make sense. Like, they're not thinking like that, but I'm going to live and die on that bridge. It's just a thing that lets me cross off guys, because you're always looking for something to get you off of guys.
There's so many guys, you have to find something.
So that's my thing. I was thinking
the exact same. I'm with you.
Yeah. So I'm going to be out on, I was thinking going into the week, Tom Kim makes a ton of sense here. And until I realized he was playing TGL last night, which by the way, great television. I'm out on the TGL hate. All golf is good golf. Give me Monday Night Golf when nothing's on, like 10 times out of 10. So
there's literally TGL, nothing on.
Fuck off. It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Let's go down a little bit. Anyone 70-1, 65-1. Sahith Theegala. This is a good damn number on Sahith. And I've been going to him. I don't know if I want to chase it because I bet him 2 weeks in a row. But the form doesn't matter with Sahith. The course doesn't matter with Sahith. The number matters with Sahith. You just If you're betting Sahith at 50 to 1 plus 100 straight times, it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. So I'm down for him. What's your thoughts on him?
Yeah, same as the two guys I just mentioned. It's kind of just a number thing. You see,
are you in on Sahith this week?
Yeah, I don't think I'll get there from a betting perspective, but considering price, he's definitely someone I'm going to have to look into a little bit more. Yeah.
All right. So who's your next click then down here?
Harry Hall is popping.
Harry Hall, again. He can putt, dude. He can putt.
He can putt. He can make birdies across the board. Pretty much everything that I'm looking for. Hot start to 2025. The top 10s in Hawaii, both events. T21 at the Amex. Hasn't lost strokes around the green in like 8 months, and that's kind of what we're looking for here with smaller greens as well. So you can get a top 30 on him at plus 140. Outright wise, 80 to 1. There's a lot of guys in that range I would probably feel more comfortable betting from an outright perspective. But if you're looking at some placements, I think Harry Hall kind of fits the bill.
I wonder what the narrative around Akshay is going to be this week. I wonder if he's going to be really popular. I can see it because he's at a great price in like every market. But Akshay Bhatia, first start here, he was 18 years old. Just went around Pebble Beach, hit 18 greens. And I mean, if you know anything about Pebble Beach, they're known to have really small greens.
Yeah.
You don't just do that. You don't just, at 18 years old, hitting every damn green. Yeah, it's not a mistake that this kid's a stud. Like, this is a golf course that suits Akshay's style of play. You're getting 70, 80 to 1 on him. Yeah, I'm down. And he's played his best golf when there's a view of the water. So there's definitely a view of the water. If you've ever seen Pebble Beach, look it up if you haven't. I'm down for Akshay, 75 to 1.
Yeah, another good number there for Akshay. One other one at 100, I texted you on. Another thing just about field, Jordan Spieth at 100 to 1.
Is it still 100?
Let's see.
Is that on Riv? You got it?
Yeah, I got it on Bet Rivers with the each way. Search them. 80. It's down to 80, but
I mean, no one's going to argue with that. Like, it's Jordan Spieth at Pebble Beach.
The 100 hung out for quite a while. Obviously, did the top 6 each way. I'm not just going to, especially when it's given at Bet Rivers. So, if Spieth's in the mix at all, I mean, if he can just avoid mistakes, like I texted you, I don't care if he's playing in a wrist brace. I would probably take Jordan Spieth at 100 to 1. Obviously, this is kind of a blind click and go because you can't look at any type of form, any type of stats from even the past 2 years. I mean, he was horrible last year. He admits to it. I think if he's willing to come back and play here, I would assume he's good enough. He's been off for quite a while, so hopefully he got the rest that he needed. And when's the last time we've got Spieth at 100 to 1?
No, you're right.
Even when he was horrible, he was 80.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think I'm going to go with someone who just kind of caught my eye. JT Poston, he's around 85 to 1, maybe a better number somewhere else. Outside of the one round at the American Express, round 2, I believe it was, where he shot 10 under in round 1, and then I think he shot 4 over in round 2 at the Stadium course. He had like the single worst or second worst putting round of his entire career. And then he bounced all the way back for a top 12 finish when he had to fight to make the cut. So JT Poston is not far off heading to a golf course that he's played a few times, has never missed a cut. And you want JT Poston on a shorter golf course for sure, who can get hot with the wedges, get hot with the putters. I thought last year, you know how I said I think this is going to be a breakout year for Pendrith? I thought the same thing last year about Poston, and I was wrong. But I didn't know he had a baby. So he's got a year with the baby under the belt, and then he already won the end of 2024. So hopefully we can keep it rolling, get the year of Posty, maybe 1 or 2 wins. That could start now. This could be a big boy win for him. So I think it's a good number, 85 to 1 on a guy who has dog and knows how to win for sure.
Yeah. Another guy right in this range who I'm probably just more at placements on would be Denny McCarthy.
Denny?
Obviously solid course history. He was T26 last year. He has a T4, T12 right before that. Obviously, I mean, this is just, like I said, the ideal setup for Denny McCarthy. So DFS placements, I think he's live at Pebble as well.
All right. Any more outrights you want to go to? Any more triple digits you want to get into?
I got one more bomb that
all right, let's do it.
I didn't bet outright. Yeah, but I did take his top 40. Christian Bezadenhout.
My friend was telling me about Seabass earlier. What's the Seabass sell?
So I feel like his short game alone should allow him to kind of tread water, stay in the mix. T20 in both of his visits to Pebble, gained over 2 strokes putting both times, had some decent results at the end of 2024 on the DP World Tour, and just in a smaller field where you get him at 175 to 1 and plus 110 on the top 40. I already did bet the top 40 at plus 110. Haven't pulled the trigger on the plus 175. If that number was given to me with an each way, it might have kind of changed my mind, but there's a 175 on a different book. I just think that he's a little bit better than quite a bit of guys that are priced ahead of him.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. All right, I'm going to go to a matchup, a tournament 3-ball. So this is a 4-day 3-ball tournament. It's Sam Burns, Jason Day, Keegan Bradley. I'm going to go with Keegan at plus 210 for a few reasons. Keegan has been in 2025 absolutely striping the golf ball. He's been hitting it as well as he's hit it in his entire career. He doesn't play this course very often, but the times he has played here has been decent result. We talked about Day. I think Day is in for a bad week. I think he's in for a letdown spot. And Sam Burns, the iron play has been really, really bad to start his 2025. I know they were on courses that were more long irons than wedges, which Sam Burns is better with wedges, but you can't argue with the numbers that he's been downright bad with the iron play. So, and it's 2-1 on Keegan, who is so motivated to play good golf this season for obvious reasons. So that's my tournament 3-ball. Keegan Bradley, do you have a matchup or no?
I'm staying away for right now with what's out there. I took a look at some of them, and then it was just bad groups. There were 2 guys that I liked in pretty much every one, so that's going to be a stay away for me with the matchups this week.
Placement,
obviously Bezadenhout at the top 40 at plus 110, and then we'll take Taylor Pendrith's top 30 at minus 110.
All right, I
don't like going below even money usually, but I think that's a pretty fair number.
I got 2 placements as well. First one, I think there's no such thing as a lock, but I think this is a lock. Colin Morikawa, top 10, plus 150. I think his floor is so high this week. He's just been literally treading water to get that win, just like so close to bursting through. And you get him in California. Obviously, he's comfortable there. You get him on these surfaces. Obviously, he's comfortable there. And he's just playing such a good golf right now. I think he's going to be in the mix this week. I think he's going to be fighting for a win. So top 10 at plus money, sign me up for that. And my top 20, Rasmus Højgaard, 2-1, top 20. If you don't know who Rasmus Højgaard is, he won the DP World Tour top 10 list in terms to get your PGA Tour card. So he finished atop of that list. He's the brother of Nicolai Højgaard, who obviously won the Masters last year. How could you forget Nicolai winning the Masters last year? And last year, Nicolai burst onto the scene and almost won at Torrey Pines. Why can't Rasmus bust on the scene and have a great week in week 1? He just played in Dubai and gained over 10 strokes ball striking in a star-studded field. Rory McIlroy, Jon Rahm. Usually, Rasmus is a guy who can gain 10 strokes putting. He can absolutely fill it up with the flat stick. A very talented golfer, future Ryder Cupper. Rasmus Højgaard, remember the name, top 20 plus 200. So those are my 2 placements for the week.
Yeah, I think Højgaard is in for a very good year, and I don't think the books have adjusted yet. So if you want to take advantage, This is probably the week to do it.
Yeah. So anything else before we get out of here? Or you got it all?
That's about all I got.
All right. Yeah. We went through those. Quickly run through 2 of those outrights because we did skip that. So
yep,
50 to 1. You said Pendrith, right?
Yep, Pendrith at 55.
And both then on Lowry at 60.
At 66.
And I didn't give a bomb. I got to give one bomb before we get out of here. My bomb of the week is Lee Hodges, 120 to 1. He's got 5 top 16 finishes in his last 7 starts and 2 top 10s in his last 3 starts. He's won before on tour. He's ball striking it really well. I do like him on bigger golf courses. I will say that, but you can't argue with the form that he's in right now. And I think he's just ready to get in the mix again. I would say if you bet that 120 to 1, throw a top 10 on that too. But Lee Hodges is my bomb for the week. So
Love it.
Is that
Lee
all?
Hodges and Seabass bombs.
Lee Hodges and Seabass bombs.
You never know.
Fuck yeah. Well, Dom, thank you for joining me yet again. Let's have another great week, elevated event, and you guys know where to find us. Any questions, hit us up. We'll catch you next week.